very good morning to you. You are most welcome to the 40th edition of the Radical New Bar Live weekly the weekly press and public engagement at the Uganda Law Society. I am by the name Robert Jirua, legal officer in charge of litigation at the Uganda Law Society. We are very excited to have you here this 23rd day of October 2025. We want to thank the Lord for thus far that we have come. We are excited today to bring to you yet again another action-packed few hours starting from now, and this time round we are taking it a notch higher to introduce to you a topic or two topics that are going to engage us in ways that benefit our health. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to take the opportunity to thank you all, especially those that are here with us physically, but as well the majority of the members and the public that are following us from the different social media handles, the X handles and Facebook, as well as YouTube. Thank you so much for making time to join us. We bring you very, very special regards from the Uganda Law Society. And as we start the day, we are going to have an opening prayer, and the program will be followed by remarks that will be coming straight from the CEO or the acting CEO, rather the message from the CEO, and thereafter we shall be hearing from the Vice President of the Uganda Law Society, who will be giving us opening remarks, and thereafter we shall delve into the topics that are lined up for us today, including the state of access to justice in Uganda, making a case for the Access to Justice Run 2025, as well as promoting corporate wellness, managing non-communicable diseases through pedo sport, as well as a message from the East Africa Law Society in regard to the 30th East Africa Law Society Annual Conference and General Meeting scheduled for 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, brace yourselves for the next few hours as we get into the mix. We'd like to begin the day by welcoming one of our own, Mr. Francis, who is going to lead us into an opening prayer to usher the day into the Lord so as to move ahead with the program. Thank you so much.
Let's humble ourselves and we pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the gift of life. We thank you for opportunity that you have given us, Father. We thank you that you protected us on our ways until we made it up to here, Father. Father, as we engage in this discussion today, Father, we call upon your presence, your wisdom, and ability, so that whatever we are going to discuss from here will be for the good of this nation, Father. Father, we pray that let be your presence cover us. I pray this in the name of Jesus Christ. We believe and we pray. Amen.
Thank you so much, Francis. We bless the name of the Lord for thus far that we have come. Like we said, ladies and gentlemen, straight away we would like to welcome Miss Sheila Turia-Singura, who's the head lap, to render unto us a message from the CEO of the Uganda Law Society, who is indisposed. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Sheila Turia-Singura. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The Vice President, Uganda Law Society, Mr. Anthony Asimwe, the CEO of LASPNet Uganda, Dr. Sylvia Namubiru Mukasa, sports consultant and proprietor Haman Pedo, Mr. Henrik Anderson, and Mr. Gabriel Achaye, who's joining us online from the East African Law Society, the council members who are present here with us physically and those online, our esteemed members of the Uganda Law Society, ladies and gentlemen, I bring you all greetings from our CEO, who is currently unable to join us because of another prior commitment, but she sends you her warm regards. On behalf of the CEO and on behalf of our Radical New Bar President, Mr. Isaac Semakade, Senior Counsel, and the Governing Council, I welcome you all to this 40th weekly session of the Rnblive series, which, as we know, is the brainchild of the Radical New Bar President. And as mentioned, it's the 40th, and so we have been going for quite a while. We really value your time that you spend with us here each week as we deliberate on topical issues during this press and public engagement. And so for today, we reflect on some of the important and timely themes, and the MC mentioned them, but I will repeat them. The first one being the state of access to justice in Uganda, making a case for the Access to Justice run that is scheduled to happen, I think, on 29th November, but the guests will speak further into it. And one of the people that will speak into it is Dr. Sylvia Namubiru Mukasa. The other is on promoting corporate wellness. This will be to discuss managing non-communicable diseases through pedosport. And this will be done by the sports consultant and proprietor of Herman Pedo, who is Mr. Hedrick Anderson. Yeah, and then Mr. Gabriel Achaye, who is joining us online, will take us through the 30th East Africa Law Society Annual Conference and General Meeting that will be coming up also at the end of November this year. So I'd like to thank you all for being part of this journey and to encourage us to continue to raise the bar as we move forward with the Radical New Bar. On this note, I'll invite our Vice President to give us the opening remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheila. Not only for inviting me, but for standing in for the CEO, who we know is not well, and your entire secretariat team for holding fort. Our distinguished guest today, Dr. Sylvia Namubiru Mukasa, and your team from LASPNet, Mr. Henrik Anderson, alongside my friend Norman, who I'm sure has come with you today. Mr. Gabriel Achaye, I'm sure you're joining us online. The council members who I'm sure are following online because we don't have anyone here. Members of the bar joining us. Secretariat staff, the Fourth Estate. Ladies and gentlemen, a good morning to you all. I do bring you greetings from the Radical New Bar Governing Council. Being the only person here today, they are with you in spirit, much as they're not here physically. They do send their warm regards specifically, and most importantly, the President, Isaac Semakade. He sends his regards to you people today. As you heard Robert mentioning, and as you can see, this is our 40th R&B session. When we came into council in a bid to execute our mandate to ensure we remain relevant to not only the members of the society, but also members of the public and the government, we came up with this Rnblive event weekly, where we, for the past 39 weeks, have had these engagements on a weekly basis. And usually we do have engagements with the public on the happenings, issues affecting rule of law, access to justice, human rights, and individual and personal well-being. We've had several of them. It's been fantastic. It's been a journey. And this would not have really been a success without the support from the Secretariat team. And every time we have an event, you have to notice that it is because of the significance of that particular aspect that we tend to have an engagement. We tend to air it out and share with the public. You may also be aware we have the biggest number of people online because one of our 4Ds is digital transformation. We believe people should access this information and services from the comfort of their offices, their homes, or where they are. They do not have to move here physically. And that is why we very much appreciate a few of you who managed to make it here physically and, listen in and see what's happening. That doesn't mean we do not appreciate the members who take time to join online and engage with us. Now, this week, like Sheila said before and Robert talked about, has 3 major topics for discussion for today. The state of access to justice in Uganda, making a case for the Access to Justice Run 2025. In a special way, allow me first congratulate the Law Development Center, Legal Aid Clinic, that celebrated 25 years of offering, legal aid. And I believe it is something most of us got involved in. Yesterday we had a match and a legal aid open day. It is not something we take for granted that there are people in this area of, pushing for access to justice for every Ugandan and making sure access to justice is a reality and sticking to principle despite the challenges, especially financial. And I believe Dr. Sylvia is better placed to speak about this because of her position and because of her passion to access to justice. And I believe that's what I believe will be clear from her, presentation, the need for these services, legal aid services. Here at Uganda Law Society, through the Legal Aid Project, we do offer legal aid services across the country. And we know what it takes. We've walked this journey. Again, the challenges that are on the way, the challenges we've gone through. And we also have experiences that we can share. But most importantly, we do appreciate the Legal Aid Service Providers Network under the stewardship of Dr. Sylvia for thinking about, coming up with such an event, the Access to Justice Run. It is a sign of intentionality and purpose that has been attributed to access to justice. It's a good cause, and without really waiting for the presentation, I do call upon the members of the bar, even the members of the public, to join us. I'm sure I shall get the details from Doctor on how it's going to be done, but I know it's a good cause. It's something that, requires each and every citizen's participation because it's a right, it's something each and every one of us deserves. It doesn't matter the status, it doesn't matter where you come from, the rich or the poor, all of us have a right to access justice from wherever we are. So I do thank you, Doctor, and your team for coming up with this initiative. And I do believe that the journey you're taking, which you've stuck to all these years, is the right direction, especially in the fact that it also aligns with the mandate of the Uganda Law Society under Section 3 of our Act, which is to assist the public and the government in all matters touching the law and those ancillary to the law. So we do appreciate you and we welcome you today. The second topic that focuses on promoting corporate wellness, managing non-communicable diseases through pedo sport. As you may be aware, most of us, the practitioners, the members out there, spend so many hours seated in offices, in courtrooms, reading, even judicial officers. And in the recent past, you've heard of how some people have dropped dead because of these health conditions that come due to the nature of the work we do. And the biggest mistake some people have always made is paying less attention to your health, to your well-being, both mental and physical. And yet again, I believe this is an opportunity for us, the members of the bar, to seize this opportunity and try to, manage our health, our well-being, because I usually joke with colleagues that for any member, any lawyer, your capital is your body, your health. So if you cannot get up and work, then that means your family goes, has to suffer. Very few of our members, open shop to sell items, to sell a service, which is really your head and your body. And if you, at any one point, are not able to perform the tasks you perform, you're not able to get out of your bed or to get out of your house to go and work, then, at the end of the day, that is the end of you. We've had members before where, they get into some health complications. We are, carrying out car washes to raise some money. And because if any lawyer spends a month or two without working, I can assure you, even the clients you have will walk away and look for other lawyers who can be available. So I feel this is very important to, promote our wellness as members of the bar, to focus on that. I've in the past received some calls from even some young members of the bar who have been asking how are we being intentional in ensuring that at least we promote the well-being of the members. How are we convening members? Because we know everyone can do that from wherever they are. But the fact that Mr. Henrik, you've accepted to join us today and give members an opportunity to hear about, the best way to do it. We do not take that for granted. And I encourage all the members to pay attention to this. And please make sure you pick it up and embrace this, because it's for your own benefit. Now, thirdly, I believe Gabriel Achai is with us online. Gabriel is not just a colleague from the ELS, he's one of us. He's passionate about what he does and about the Uganda Law Society. We can't wait to hear from you to talk about the East African Law Society, where we are members, and we are all aware that come November, we have the 30th ELS conference, which I think will be in Addis Ababa. And we do call upon members to take part, to register and attend, because these regional bar associations and meetings benefit us in growing our business, in networking, and it's an opportunity for members here to go and see what other colleagues in other jurisdictions are doing, how they are managing practice, how they are doing business, and also the opportunities for partnerships. There are people who would want to come here and do business, legal business, and they want lawyers they can partner with here. So it's really such a big opportunity. And I believe Gabriel will give us more insights on what will be happening on the 26th and the 29th of November 2025 in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. The reason we are members to some of these, organizations, even regional bar associations and international bar associations, is not just, for being a member, but to benefit the membership of the society in professional growth as well as business growth. So, Gabriel, you're welcome, and thank you for always being there for the ELS every time we call upon you. I remember you gave us a lot of support during the Tech Fest. You brought your experience from the East Africa, from that perspective, and we don't take it for granted that you do spare your time again to be with us. So colleagues, I once again, on behalf of the Governing Council, welcome you I'm personally excited to, to see how this unfolds, because everything we have today is really interesting and exciting. I might have a bit of an idea on a few of them, but I call upon you to pay attention, engage, listen in, and also let it not end here. Let's take action from what we get from the team today. I once again welcome you, and I wish you the best of the day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, the most perpendicular president, and he's actually the heartbeat of the Radical New Bar. We want to thank you for your very awesome remarks and the insights you've given unto us. We also appreciate you as an individual. I call him Robocop. For those who were able to watch some of those movies, he never tires. He is everywhere, and he is like a rebel, like he says. Thank you so much, Mr. Vice President. And with all those that has been said, we want to take the chance to start the day into listening to the different distinguished speakers, and we're not going to go so far without listening in. We're going to listen to an advocate of the High Court and is also the Chief Executive Officer of LASPNet, who holds a master's degree in development studies majoring in human rights and social justice perspectives from Erasmus University in the Netherlands. She holds a diploma in legal practice and an LLB from Makerere University, along with an honorary doctorate in humanity from Zoe Theological University in the United States of America. She has served as an ED of the Uganda Law Society and headed its legal aid and pro bono services. She also has been a magistrate, an external examiner in family practice at the Law Development Center. She has also been a very resourceful person on access to justice and child-friendly justice. Her leadership roles include membership to the Judiciary's Case Management Committee and various subcommittees, the State-Funded Legal Representation Committee, and serving as president of the Uganda Association of Sacred Heart Schools alumni. She is also a member of the East Africa Law Society's Rule of Law Committee, the Advisory Committee for Legal Aid at Uganda Law Society, and the Justice for Children Steering Committee of J-Laws. She is a recognized member of FIDA Uganda, the Uganda Law Society, and the East Africa Law Society. She was listed in the Courtroom Mail, 100 African Female Lawyers in 2022, and was acknowledged for her contributions to access to justice for vulnerable persons in Uganda by the National Association for Women Judges in 2019, among others. Ladies and gentlemen, with this illustrious introduction, allow me to welcome Dr. Sylvia Namubiru Mukasa.
Thank you so much, Director of the Day of the program, for that kind introduction. I'm really happy to be back home. This is one of the areas where I have served and I always cherish, and I'm glad this far we have come. Congratulations to the Council and the Secretariat for this enormous work and innovations. The Vice President of the Uganda Law Society, Radical New Bar, and the council members, the governing councils in your respective capacities, wherever you are listening in and tuned in. Fellow panelists in your respective capacities, the Secretariat, distinguished members of the bar, the general public, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning. I take this opportunity to appreciate the Uganda Law Society for giving us this platform to be part of the 40th Rnblive series. Thank you for giving us this opportunity. Before I start, I would like to introduce the team I moved with. Yes, I was seated there with none other than Miss Flavia Mogoya, the Deputy Executive Director of HIRAF, Human Rights Forum for Human Rights. It sometimes runs off my head. HIRAF, Human Rights Promotion. Yes. And she's the chairperson of the organizing committee of the Access to Justice Run, but also Organizational Development and Sustainability Committee of the of LastNet. So that is the lady I've moved with that is leading the team that is organizing the Access to Justice. I also moved with the Director of Programs, Badruwal Sansa Omlangira, at the Uganda, I don't know, forgive me when I keep on confusing, You know the history of Uganda Law Society and now LastNet. Yes, Badwal Sansa is the Director of Programs and he's also the coordinator of the Access to Justice. I moved with the in-house counsel, Kayanja Dennis, yes, in charge of the pre-trial detention of the project of LastNet, but also the in-house counsel. I moved with the lobby and advocacy, Miss Justice Namboa of LastNet. And I also moved with the networking, coordination and partnership officer, Peter Mtebi. So that is the team. I'll be making the presentation, but in between there, I'll be calling in the director to expound more on the Access to Justice Run. And then all the questions that will be coming in will be answered collectively when we are led by our chairperson. Thank you. Today, the topic I'm speaking about is access to justice. The state of access to justice in Uganda, making a case for access to justice run. That is a topic that is so passionate to and dear to my heart, because almost 20 years of my service have been in access to justice, programming, addressing issues, firefighting here and there. And so access to justice refers to the ability of people to obtain just resolutions and decisions, justify problems, and enforce their rights in compliance with the human rights standards. That is according to the UN Nations Development Program. There exists a myriad of international and regional policy framework that underpin access to justice, to which Uganda is the state party. We have the Constitution, we have the UCPR, we have the conventions in their different perspectives. But today, allow me to speak about one of the decisions in the Okenya Omwansa, George, and another versus Attorney General. It is a Kenyan law report that defines access to justice to include the enshrinement of rights in the law, awareness of and understanding of the law, is the availability of information pertinent to one's rights, equal rights to the protection of those rights by the law enforcement agencies, is the access to justice system, particularly the formal adjudicatory processes, availability of physical legal infrastructure, affordability of legal services, provision of a conducive environment within the judicial system, expeditious disposal of cases and enforcement of judicial decisions without delay. That is the cocktail of access to justice. And once any of that is not there, then we cannot say we have access to justice. If the laws offers rights and entitlements, the rights holders are aware of their rights, there is a prevalence or access to mechanisms to enforce and protect the rights through legal and judicial services in a timely manner and fair manner, thus remedies as well as the ability to enforce the remedy, then we say we have access to justice. Access to justice envisages the ability of people to effectively access, navigate the legal system, and seek remedies and resolve disputes through formal and informal justice. But we have to remember that it also has to have conformity with human rights standards. So therefore, when I make conditions to access justice for clarity, we have to make sure that the existence of the legal framework, we have the laws in place. Not only having laws in place, There has to be widespread legal awareness and literacy among the population, because it's not enough to have the laws when the users don't know where to do and what to do. But also, they have to have affordability. And the quality of legal advice and representation is part of the access to justice. Availability of dispute resolution mechanisms is part of access to justice. Availability of efficient and impartial methods. Availability of efficient and impartial methods. So if the methods are there but they are not efficient, if there is partiality, then we cannot say there is access to justice. So the key words that we have to go with when we are discussing access to justice is accessibility, affordability, and availability, whether in a formal or informal justice. Sorry, I'm having echoes. The United Nations requires all state parties to commit to providing access to justice for all, recognizing it as a key indicator of peaceful and inclusive societies with an aim of combating discriminative practices in achieving access to basic services. So access to justice, the way we have health care, the way we have education, the way we have roads, is the same importance the states are supposed to put or equate to access to justice. I've heard this being said several times, especially when we are pushing for the legal aid law. It's not a priority. We don't have resources, and that can wait. But access to justice cannot wait, because it's the cornerstone of any democratic governance. It's the cornerstone of accountability. It's the cornerstone of transformation. It's the cornerstone of rule of law, justice, and peace. So if someone is uncomfortable with what is happening around them concerning their rights to access justice, they are being displaced on the land, their property rights are being abused, their child neglect, the administration of estate issues, one can never have peace, even if they have a road where to pass. So I would like at this juncture to mention and to emphasize that access to justice is as important as we need what we call kits for women in the hospitals, as we need roads where to pass. We need to also pay attention to the access to justice issues. And that now brings me to the discussion of the state of access to justice in Uganda. Uganda's justice system has evolved over time, supported by the establishment of frontline institutions, including Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, courts of law. Remember I told you about the systems and infrastructures, police, Directorate of Public Prosecution, prisons, Uganda Law Society, Uganda Human Rights Commission, and many more that form the justice, law, and order sector. These institutions, as they deliver services, are complemented by other justice actors, including civil society, non-government organizations, media, among others. The National Development Plan 4 encompasses two broader programs aimed at enhancing access to justice. That is the Governance and Security Program and Administration of Justice Program. Formerly, the Governance and Security Program was the Justice, Law, and Order sector. And now, under the administration of the Justice Act, introducing the Administration of Justice Program. To this end, we have had progressive legislations, such as the Administration of Justice Act that I've told you, and others. The importance of the administration of the Justice Act is that it has significantly empowered the judiciary to become self-accounting and autonomous in dispensing of justice. We have had other improvements, like now the operationalization of the state brief scheme, including the enactment of the practice rules known as the Judicature Legal Representation at the Expense of the State. Rule 22 now puts into place legal aid. and also helps to ensure that those charged with capital offenses are represented. And it also put in place the monitoring structure, which is the committee. Again, the judiciary has made commendable steps and progress through innovations, physical and technological infrastructure. We now have the IKIMIS, and it can't go unnoticed. And when we're speaking about digitalization, it has strengthened and improved access to justice. But also, we have infrastructures, state-of-the-art Supreme Court buildings, Court of Appeal, and across the country, when you read the JELOS report, they keep on giving us the progress in terms of construction of justice centers. There are also innovations that I need to speak about, like court-annexed mediations intended to expedite justice, smaller claims, allowing litigants that cannot be represented by lawyers to go to court, plea bargaining, fast-tracking the criminal justice system, ADR to ensure that we also bring in the informal justice dispute mechanisms, and promoting people-centered justice. All have contributed positively to the judicial transformation agenda. Currently, and most importantly, the judiciary has launched the Judiciary Performance Enhancement Tool, which was launched on the 17th October. This tool is giving an opportunity for the performance of judicial officers to be appraised internally and externally. So that is very important because it is giving accountability, and we are able to give our views on how the judiciary is performing at individual. However, and notwithstanding the above, the following issues remain outstanding when it comes to access to justice. And I want to give you some statistics. According to Hill Justice Needs Survey 2016, 80% of Ugandans are vulnerable, and they cannot afford the services of private lawyers. Less than 5% of dispute resolution take place in courts of law. 40 million Ugandans, as at 2016, get the 4%, and those are the people that were going to the formal court. And they were having less than 1% of their cases resolved. So those of you who understand mathematics, calculate the magnitude of disputes arising and what is resolved annually as of 2016. The subsequent Hill Justice Needs 2024, they noted a slight percentage increase to formal courts from 5% to 10%. They also documented the most prevalent issues, or what we call the justice needs of the people of Uganda, with majority having land disputes, land wrangles, that form different facets. There are land wrangles that get into the category of the haves, those that grab, those that have assets, but also there are land wrangles within the countryside of the most vulnerable, those that are being evicted. The family disputes, and you'll agree with me, lawyers, especially in family practice, you visit the land division of the High Court of Uganda, and you are only in Kampala. The corridors are full. Land disputes have increased. Domestic violence, and some of the domestic violence cases are never reported. And especially poverty-driven crimes. I am deliberate by saying poverty-driven crimes. If you go to the prisons, majority of the people in prisons are facing charges that we call minor offenses, not felonies. And some of those that have felonies, they are again emerging out of issues related to economic things or issues. I will not elaborate, but the lawyers know the cases they find day to day when they go to courts. The dispensation of access to justice is currently riddled with perceived and real corruption. When you say there is corruption, they will tell you it is perceived. But between me and you that interface in the corridors of the judiciary, the corridors of police, the corridors of Office of the Director of Public Prosecution, you know how every day people are parting with money to get justice. The bond which he says is free is never free. And we know that most of the litigants participate in these transactions as givers of the bribery or not. But the people I told you 80% are poor. Those are the people we are draining as we are making them access justice. So, it is very difficult to obtain favorable outcomes, as I told you, that can be acceptable when the system has been oiled. For the vulnerable persons we serve, the perception remains that justice is for the rich. Omwavu tasinga musango. For as long as you don't have money, you can never. And this has eroded the public interest, the public trust in the judicial system. When Afrobarometer does its survey, it will always tell you there's no trust in the justice system. Erosion of judicial independence, because we know that there is interference at different levels, whether political, whether by the powers that be, and as a result, the outcomes are always not out as expected. Prison congestion. Many prisoners, especially the youth, are in incarceration because they don't have anyone to represent them. The average case of a criminal case of a felony is 5 years. And don't forget that when they clock mandatory period on remand these days, it's very hard to get because of the revision of the bail guidelines, very hard to access this, what we would call automatic bail. At my time when I was a judicial officer, and I need to speak about it, I served at Uganda Road, one of the most busiest courts. But whenever these people would come, especially those who have no representation and they have clocked the mandatory period on remand, where the capital offense was, you had no option but to release at their own right. You give a bond because the prosecution has failed. This is no longer the case. Papers have to be first filed and they have to be assessed by the courts of judicature, the judges. And all that time, people are on remand. Of course, there has been a slight improvement in the convicts, but the majority are on remand. And we have a research on the youth justice needs. You will find that the majority are youth and their time is running out. By the time they come out, they are adults. They don't know where to start from. And all they will do is to repeat that repeated offending or recidivism. And they will get back because they find prison to be their home. At the prisons, they will do gardening, they will be fed, there will be teachers if they are teachers, they will do carpentry. So the prison gives them a much better life than the outside. The access to justice in Uganda is also marred by human rights violations of pre-trial rights of suspects. We have witnessed arbitrary arrests, we have witnessed enforced disappearances, and and quickly so. Now with land disputes, people prefer to go to RDC. Because they know they will pull out their what? Whip. Their voice speaks with power. So they will find themselves going to RDCs to resolve disputes. But again, that dispute remains in a hanging balance. Because there are certain disputes that have to come within the formal courts, whether we like it or not. And there are disputes that can go for formal and quickly be resolved. Lack of legal representation to hold the poor and vulnerable while they access services. Like I've said, only 20% of Ugandans, according to the HEAL report of 2016, can access services of private practitioners. They are the ones who can afford to pay the 10% legal fees. 20% of Ugandans. We don't have a state-funded legal scheme, and all efforts to push for it has been curtailed. Legal aid is mainly provided by non-state actors, apart from the state brief scheme. But again, with the state brief scheme, I can go on and I'm a chair of the monitoring committee of the state-funded legal scheme. And if I can tell you the issues we found on ground, suspects are saying the lawyers on state brief, they don't give them sufficient time. Suspects are saying they plead guilty to the plea bargain because they never understood. Suspects are saying when they are in court, they only see the lawyers while in court premises. The case is beginning today. Sometimes that's when you see the lawyer. The lawyer don't have sufficient resources to visit the suspects there. Of course, efforts are being made to improve the state-funded legal aid scheme, state-funded state brief scheme, but still you'll find that those people who get state-funded representation are the poor, who cannot afford to go into the chambers of a criminal expert, lawyer, to represent them. So that issue is a serious issue of legal representation. So, legal aid provision as a tool for access to justice, and how important we need to invest in legal aid and pro bono. With the above state of affairs, legal aid services, both primary and secondary in nature, continue to bridge the gap towards enhancing access to justice. Some of the listeners may not understand when I say primary and secondary. Primary is the real litigation, where the lawyers who are paid, say here in the Uganda Law Society Legal Aid Project, lawyers in FIDA, lawyers in UCLF, and other LASPs, they are given salaries and they are able to litigate the case wherever the aggrieved party feel, including up to the Supreme Court. But primary is the empowerment, where we use a lot of paralegals, where we use a lot of community sensitization. That is also very important because it prevents occurrence of cases. Therefore, under LASNet, through our members, the organizations are 60 in number. But on the ground, you ask me a question, are they there? And I'm yet to come to that. Have played a critical role in providing services to the poor and vulnerable. Sometimes they are thematic based. You find that FIDA is thematic based. Women, children. Uganda Law Society, luckily enough, all categories of the poor, vulnerable, and marginalized. You'll find that if you go to LEMU, Land and Equity Movement, it is only mainly land rights. When you go to HIRAF will tell you we focus on all the issues, but focusing on human rights. So you find that it is in piecemeals, but it is there. We lack the comprehensive state-funded legal aid scheme, and the Legal Aid Bill 2022 is still with the Legal and Parliamentary Committee and has not reverted back to Parliament. But we have invested millions of money. We have invested a lot of time in advocating for this law. Since the time of DGF, the formation of the committee to move the policy. And since 2008, we have been in this journey of having the national state-funded legal aid law. The Vice President has mentioned that in East Africa, we are the only one remaining. Tanzania learned from us and they made their law. They enacted their law. Kenya is ahead. Rwanda has a policy. Yeah? So Uganda, we always say we don't have the resources, but we think the resources, if we prioritize the 80% Ugandans, we can get this law. And it will improve them. It has a cost socio-economic benefit. We've done research. I can't go into all that, but we have a research on the cost-benefit analysis of providing legal aid to those who cannot afford, using the means and merits. Not everyone can access, but when we use the means and merits, it is very important to improve and remove people from poverty using the law as a tool. And before you know it, the lawyers that only have a 20% access, their clientele will also increase, because we would have improved. Those who are not able to go to the services, they will go into businesses, SM&E. Eventually, they will improve, they will acquire land, and before you know it, the clientele of the lawyers will increase by improving access to justice for the most vulnerable I'll end it there when I'm talking about the law so that I don't go much into that. The other bigger issue that the LASPs are facing is the donor funding. The legal aid, those lawyers that I've mentioned, or the organizations, were all funded under the Legal Aid Basket Fund of the Democratic Governance Facility. And when DGF exited, there's no more being given to the legal aid service providers for them to go and help decongest the prison, for them to represent. And now you said recently. Therefore, many have closed and many have scaled down. Remember, the prison condition is currently stands at 78,819 as of August 2025. Just yesterday, I was with the in-charge remand, Naguru, and he said the population of the children, and remember the children under the Children's Act are mandated to be represented in any matter. A child is supposed to go with a lawyer plus a probation officer if the child is being, there is an inquiry. A probation officer should be there. But no child should appear before a judicial officer without legal representation. But as of yesterday, just remand home here of Naguru, I've not talked about the rest, 250 children beyond the capacity. Now multiply across the country. As I've already said, the delivery of legal aid services has tangible benefits to the country's social, economic development through promotion of rule of law, human rights, social cohesion, peace and security, as well as providing employment opportunities. Ultimately, legal aid is a cornerstone for realization of Sustainable Goal 16 and inclusive development, leaving no one behind. The LASPs are suffering. They are grappling. What about us at LASNet? Remember, we are the coordinator. And the coordinator, we give the pace because of our mandate. Our mandate is research and knowledge management. Our mandate is lobby and advocacy. Our mandate is strengthening institutions, capacity building, peer review, and setting standards, among others. But right now, as we speak, the same wave is the network. We can no longer do research. Every year, Mr. President, we used to release the Access to Justice Trends Analysis report. Every year. And this report would be launched by the Justice and Order sector, the judiciary. And the recommendations there, they would implement. And we would track them to see how far they've gone. We are seeing the ECMIS. We are seeing the anti-corruption strategies. We are seeing many changes in the judiciary. Some of them, most of them were recommended in our reports. We used to do corruption monitoring within the Justice and Order sector. And within that, we would produce annual reports on corruption, because we would look at reducing on the bottlenecks that hinder access to justice. We are never able to do that. So we have been as affected, and that is the state of access to justice. Because someone was asking me, what is the state of access to justice? That is the state of access to justice. Litigants are supposed to be given information. Litigants are supposed to be held by the hand to traverse through the complicated and complexities of the justice sector. When they go to courts of law, they need to have the outcomes very fast and justly. But because there is no legal representation, because there is no one holding accountable, there's no one researching and giving information, the access to justice remains now on guesswork and on individual opportunities. So that is why, in a bid to address some of these challenges, we plan to do certain initiatives as LASNet intended to sustain us. For example, the Legal Aid House, which we are going to talk about, is intended to be one of what we call the social enterprise model, housing the secretariat, but also providing conference facilities and training facilities for the legal aid service providers. Among others, we don't have the resources, and we hope that when we do some of these interventions, we are able to address these recurrent issues of sustainability, in addition to continuing to advocate for the legal aid law. We cannot stop. And I call upon the bar to understand, if the lawyers, in their own understanding, they thought that if this law comes, it will take away business, it can never take away business. It will instead improve business for the lawyers. And you have a bigger catchment area from which to get the clients. I had an opportunity of visiting South Africa with a team, the movers, and we looked at Legal Aid South Africa. For employment purposes, for career growth and enhancement of legal practitioners in the legal aid sector, that is the best model. They litigate up to the Supreme Court. They litigate according to your area of expertise. You can be a commissioner, you can be a litigator, you can be a manager. So it is a structure or a legal system that tends to empower. They outsource cases of public interest litigation if you cannot handle it as a government entity, but they will outsource. They work closely with the civil society, and you find that lawyers coming in as attorneys under apprenticeship and growing and litigating and becoming the most sought after law chamber. Like we have now the Attorney General's chamber, like now we have many people seeking out to go to the judiciary. Legal Aid South Africa is a brand, And if we really push as Ugandans to get that kind of infrastructure in Uganda, and with the increasing, getting more lawyers out of LDC that are now currently unemployed, you'll find that this is going to be a very good system that will take us far as legal, or lawyers that are giving legal aid and pro bono. Vice President, I've talked a lot, and at this juncture, I'd like to invite Mr. Badru Sansa to take us through about the Access to Justice Run and tell us exactly what it is and why we think the lawyers and the general public should participate. For now, I will stop here and I will conclude when he's done. Thank you.
Yes, very well. Thank you so much, CEO Lastminute, for laying the ground. I'm here to talk about the Access to Justice Run, and the Access to Justice Run is under the tagline, Run for Justice. With all that brief that the CEO has just shared, we thought that having this activity, dubbed the Access to Justice Run, will be used as a fundraising event by Lastminute. And of course, it is intended to spotlight on the different access to justice issues, as she has alluded to, and of course also provide an opportunity for Lastminute to fundraise resources towards the construction of the Legal Aid House, as she has ably articulated. The Access to Justice Run is slated for the 29th November, and it will be flagged off by a chief runner, who is Owech Tibwa, David F.K. Mpanga, well known to you colleagues in the legal fraternity as the Minister of Lands and Properties in the Buganda Kingdom. And of course, he'll be representing Owech Tibwa, Charles Peter Maiga, the Premier of Buganda Kingdom. But we also expect a chief guest from the judiciary who will be presiding over the Legal Aid Open Day, which is one of the side events on that day. And we have a host of front runners, and these will be accompanying the chief runner, many of them drawn from justice institutions, as we all know, development partners, universities, but most importantly, I would really want to look at the vice president of the Radical New Bar putting on that kit and also running as a front runner. And we expect to have an estimated number of 5,000 participants who will be coming in as runners. Most importantly, the venue is LDC grounds. We all know LDC grounds. That's where we shall be. And we have classified the run in 2 different kilometers, 15 kilometers, 10, and then 5 kilometers. And the expected time that the runners will be flagged off is 6 a.m., and we expect to have concluded the run by 3 p.m. Now, we have different complementary events that are expected at the Access to Justice Run. One is the Legal Aid Open Day. And of course, here we anticipate to have different institutions from the justice sector and also corporate companies participating, but of course the public as well, shall be there to benefit from legal aid. And if you could also allow, we expect to have different law firms that would express their interest to come and also come and provide pro bono services to the indigent. We expect to have a car wash, and this will symbolically enable us to also mobilize resources towards the cause that we are running for. And please bring your vehicles, bring your cars in large numbers. We have very many colleagues who are going to be involved in this activity, particularly washing the cars. And then we also expect to have sports activities on that day. So please come expecting to participate in different sports activities and also a health camp. So we are interested in a number of health facilities, hospitals to come and camp and also provide healthy consultations and services at the venue. Now, most importantly to the legal fraternity, why this is important for LASPNet and all of us who are engaged in this Access to Justice run is we are fundraising resources towards the construction of the legal aid house. I'll not reiterate what the CEO painted as the state of access to justice, but this is most importantly going to benefit our sustainability. The other aspect is the promotion of access to justice through highlighting the emerging bottlenecks of access to justice. Now that we expect to have different dignitaries from the justice sector, we want to share first-hand experiences that the public are facing in as far as access to justice is concerned. One, for their consumption, but also to take action. Then the creation of awareness about legal aid services to the indigent, because I mentioned that we expect to have thousands of the indigent at least being mobilized and then participating and partaking into this activity. Then the promotion of physical well-being. I do not want to claim authority into the physical well-being because the expert is already here. So you'll underscore why it is important actually to participate in this Access to Justice run. Then the creation of a platform for networking and partnership amongst the individuals who are going to participate. Since we have a cocktail of stakeholders expected, you never know, it could be at this event where you're going to get a contact that is going to be life-changing. So please, we request that you consider participating in this noble activity. Then why the lawyers are encouraged to participate. One, we are in liaison with Uganda Law Society because we are convening this in a partnership. And so we expect that those who are participating by way of purchasing the running kits shall be receiving CLE points. And I think an official communication is going to be shared by Uganda Law Society. And I think you know what that means to the lawyers, the CLE points. Then extension of legal aid and pro bono services to the vulnerable persons. We know that by nature of your work as lawyers, many of you really aspire to have an opportunity to extend pro bono services, but sometimes you could be limited by where you're going to get the indigent people or the beneficiaries of these services. So here is a groundbreaking opportunity for you to participate, and as a way of that, extend pro bono services. It could be at individual level or at firm level. So we invite you in that aspect. Then contribution, all the fees collected from this activity shall go towards the construction of the legal aid house. And lastly is to contribute towards the social corporate responsibility. And we urge you to also put that into consideration as you make a choice to participate in this. Then how to participate? We have running kits. My colleague can bring them here for flagging. So we have two categories of kits. We have the platinum. So platinum here would go for 35,000. And given the flamboyancy of the lawyers, we honestly think you cannot leave platinum and go for ordinary. So for purposes of guarding against the profession, here is your kit. Officially unveiled and plugged off. So 35,000, you'll earn yourself this kit, including a bottle. And then the ordinary goes for 25,000. So Adam, no, I can't, you can't belong here. But colleagues, we ask that by way of extending sponsorship to the indigent, to the students. We have a wide student community from different law schools that would want to participate in this, but sometimes they could be inhibited by resources to buy this kit. So I can see quite a number of law firms extending their long arms to LASPNet and then purchasing thousands of these to benefit the students, but also the indigent. So this goes for 25,000. And all this can be collected from here. Law Society will be taking charge in the sale of these to especially the lawyers. And I think for each kit purchased, there's CLE points attached. So we can have a slogan for each kit, certain CLE points shall be communicated by the society. I thank you and allow me to now invite the CEO to continue with our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Badru, and don't worry, I'm also in just conclusion. We are going to give the Secretariat all the details of where we are going to be purchasing. You can purchase online, we have a link. You can send at the bank directly, or you can call us and pay. But we also have a Momo Pay. So that information is going to be given to the Secretariat. Finally, as I conclude, mine is to really be appreciative, first and foremost, to the Uganda Law Society Radical Nuba, the Council, the Secretariat, for joining us in this cause, because you're already official sponsors of the Access to Justice Run 2025. It is the inaugural, and once it is successful, no doubt it will become an annual event that brings us together as givers of justice, justice givers. I want to thank you, Uganda Law Society, and let's clap for them. I would like to appreciate the Uganda Human Rights Commission. They've already committed to being part of the official sponsors. We are going to run with the Uganda Human Rights Commission. If you don't know how the chairperson looks like, you don't know how the directors look like, please, that is the opportunity. You don't have their contact because they will be setting up a stall. Please come and be on this day. Most importantly, and with humility, I want to say that the Kingdom of Uganda is part of our official sponsors. The Katikkiro of Uganda has already blessed this run, and we know Katikkiro is a representation of the people. So this is the Access to Just Land for the people of Uganda and Uganda Kingdom. We thank you so much. Law Development Center, where we are all trained as lawyers. You got Law Development Center, and they are celebrating the 25 years. They are part already of official sponsors. They have provided the grounds free of charge, and they have opened up their doors. Thank you so much, Uganda Law Development Center, Kampala. We have already contacted the heads of the divisions of all the High Court. They are going to be front runners. The Office of the Director of Public Prosecution, the Chief Registrar's Office, National Association of Women Judges, UJOA, Makerere University, and all the universities are going to be part of the front runners. Our members, the legal service providers, all the lawyers and the CEOs are joining us. So let us clap for all those people who have already committed. We are also calling upon, already as has been mentioned, the law firms to be official sponsors, and we shall recognize you. We shall recognize your opportunity, your offers, and all the corporate institutions that we have already contacted. We are calling upon you to be sponsors. So thank you so much. And I would like to end by saying thank you so much, Secretariat, the team of Rule of Law, the team, the CEO and the team. Thank you so much for making this day possible. And the hashtag is, we are running for justice. We are running for justice. I thank you so much for listening, and may God bless you so much. Thank you so much.
We are running for. We are running for. We are running for. Thank you so much. A round of applause once again for LASPNet and the team. We really appreciate everything that you've shared with us. Thank you for bringing the topic, especially in regard to access to justice. The preamble was enough to explain why we need to come and run. The preamble shows that access to justice is deplorable, wanting, despicable in a country of Uganda that we are very proud to say for God and my country. So we are asking, as the Ugandan Law Society, because we have been visited, and Ugandan Law Society is a home for all. We thank you so much for honoring us, for coming to visit us, and to use this platform, for which we are grateful as well, to be sponsors, because the list of sponsors is a cocktail, as has been said. We are going to be rubbing shoulders with UHRC. We're going to be rubbing shoulders with LDC, the High Court, Buganda Kingdom, and all other associations and law firms, as has been said. Ladies and gentlemen, lawyers, the public, and everybody else concerned about access to justice, kindly take heed and follow up on this call, because at the end of the day, we're extending justice to that very loved one of yours who is within the 80% that is vulnerable, indigent, and can't afford legal aid services. This is the opportunity, and Uganda Law Society is very proud to associate with the LASPNet, and in that regard, would like to thank the team that has come as representation of LASPNet, especially through the doctor who has elaborated everything that would have been wanted to be heard by the members. So ladies and gentlemen, those present physically and those online, thank you so much, and may God bless you as we look to support the cause that has just been asked into. We are going to take a break, but before that, we're going to request that we take a group photo. There is a team that wants to excuse itself because of different other programs, especially as well the vice president who would like to go for another intended and planned activity, would like to call the high table to the podium to take a group picture for purposes of posterity and record. Everyone, including Henrik as well, to come to the front. We take a group picture with the vice president so that we can excuse one or two of us so as to move forth with the agenda item. Thank you so much. Adam? Over here.
Papa. Yeah, Mr. President, I have the honor of requesting you to use your authority.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. All right, just before the Vice President leaves, Mr. Enric of Padel Sports Center is going to speak to us, including supporting the cause of access to justice run. So there's going to be a very special session over here. Just a second.
Yes, hello. I'm Henrik Andersen, CEO of Herman Paddle. And I was very impressed with what I just heard. And thank you very much. And we would very much like to support with at least 5. I have to see how many of my people are able to run that day. But I know we can find 5 runners. They might not be as fast running as the lawyers. They are in shape. But we'll try our best.
All right, thank you so much once again. This is LastNet bringing wellness to you closer, including access to justice to the vulnerable. Remember, the statistics don't look nice, and let us take heed of that, because as lawyers, especially, and those that are educated enough to appreciate mathematics, like our President, Uganda Law Society, who actually, for your information, studied sciences in his high school, but ended up as a lawyer, a very, very perpendicular lawyer. So for those that understand the mathematics, 80% of Ugandans who are vulnerable and indigent is not a very good story for us, but it also presents an opportunity for us as lawyers to extend justice to the vulnerable, which means that there is a lot of platform available, and these initiatives by organizations like LastNet are one of the very many that are available for us to extend justice. So you're kindly called upon, as we shall announce eventually, about the purchase of kit, to visit the Uganda Law Society offices, and also other sell points that will eventually be agreed upon and shared to the membership widely, to come and join in the cause, especially because there is 2 different categories. There's ordinary at 25,000 shillings and platinum at 35,000 shillings. Would like to really appreciate LastNet and Doctor and your team for this very, very humble gesture. May God bless you in that venture, and may the Lord also see us through on that day with all the categories of individuals and organizations that are welcome to the to join the run on that day. Good weather and a lot of progress and success. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Would like to thank you. Off to our next topic. We are going to be delving into, as we had explained earlier on, a topic to do with promoting corporate wellness, and that is going to be in a way to learn how to manage non-communicable diseases through pedo sport. And we are going to be listening into why we should engage in this sport, because as you very well know, it is not just about running, it's not about working, it's not about offering legal services. As the Vice President said, your health is your capital. It is useless for you to have so much money and yet you don't have good health. So it is the time that we want to see how to interlink health, sport, and practice, especially to the lawyers, but also generally because this is a topic that touches everybody regardless of your category, of your training, and of your background, because this is a sport. And with us today, we don't want to speak so much when the primary contact people who are introducing us to a very good idea that I was informed was earlier on brought to the Uganda Law Society, and this is now an extended version of sharing what more we are going to hear from the individual that we are going to be describing, who is a Danish entrepreneur and business development specialist with a strong background in technology and innovation. From 2007 to 2020, he has led Surfex Apps, developing advanced inspection and maintenance software for the offshore oil and gas industry, and he's developed advanced. He has helped in developing advanced inspection and maintenance of software for the offshore oil and gas industry, serving some of the biggest companies in the world. Between 2020 and 2025, he founded a consultant company and worked for several European tech companies, including Space Invader, Satellite Company, and Aguadio Green Water Technology, focusing on business strategy, implementation, and operation growth. Driven by his entrepreneurial spirit, he moved to Uganda, where he founded Herman Paido Center, Uganda's multi-court Paido tennis facility. He dedicated to building community through sport, health, and shared experiences. Beyond business, he is passionate about inspiring others to unlock what we call potential and live purposes with clarity and especially focus. We want to take this opportunity to welcome an entrepreneur, a business development specialist, and a co-founder of Herman Paido Center. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome with me, Mr. Henrik Anderson.
Hello again. Hello. Thank you very much for this opportunity to speak here. Thank you to the president who left. Thank you for the team from ULS. And I'm not going to waste a lot of time talking about why this is a problem. I think the president showed that loud and clear. So instead, I'm going to tell you why paddle works. But let's step it back a little bit. As you heard, I'm from Denmark. I'm an entrepreneur. I see possibilities everywhere. I see things I like and I go there. As opposed to things I don't like, I tend to stay away from. How did I end up in Uganda? Well, I met something I liked and then I got engaged. 2 years ago, we found a plot. It was March 2024. We signed the contract on March 28th, started building on April 2nd, and on 26th of July, we had opening of Herman Paddle Center, a soft opening. And now we are a little bit over a year old, and we see more and more people coming, and more Ugandans are getting the interest of the game. I've been invited here today to talk about why it's important to do sports and activities, but also why paddle is important. Because paddle has something that none of the other sports have. Let me get back to that. Another thing about paddle is that paddle is twice as good a workout as running. That might not sound possible, but I'll explain why in a little while. Lawyers, the day of a lawyer. I've been there. I wasn't a lawyer, but I was corporate, and I worked 16 hours a day and never remembered to take care of myself. Drove through Kentucky Fried Chicken, got some food, and then off to work, and forgot exercise, forgot things around me. One thing that's great about lawyers, they are working hard to defeat injustice. Today I hope that we can make them defeat the injustice they might do to their body. But the first reason why it hasn't succeeded so far, if you work 14 hours a day as a lawyer, how many wants to come home at 9 o'clock at night and go for a run? I see a couple of heads doing this. Why not? Is not running not fun? No, running is not fun. Is going to the gym fun? Sit and pull some iron? No, it's not fun. What is the difference between paddle and all the other sports? Two things. Paddle is fun. Are you all right? Good. Paddle is fun, and it's social, and it's a very good workout. Let me start with the good workout. Why it's twice as good as football. As running. If you run for typically 30 minutes, which most of us do, you burn 350 to 450 calories. If you play 1 to 2 hours of paddle, which most of us do, you burn somewhere between 500 and 1200 calories. That's why I'm saying that paddle is twice as good, because you simply play longer. It's a big warning about paddle. It's extremely addictive. So unless you want to start doing a lot of sports, cardio sports, which is good for your health, don't come and play paddle. We have a live example. Lawyers like to use exhibits, so my exhibit A sits right here. Mr. Norman. Raise your hand. Yes. Norman came to us, started on our Americano, and he spoke to us, told me once that he liked how social it was, how welcome he felt. And it didn't take the center more than maybe 1 or 2 months before we got Mr. Norman hooked, and now he's coming 3 to 4 times a week. Exactly. So the reason why paddle work versus why running and why gym doesn't work is that it's fun to come to play paddle. You don't think about running. The only thing you think about is to get that little bloody yellow ball across the net and beat your opponent. Because if there's one thing I know lawyers love, it's winning. It's beating their opponent either in the courtroom or in the court, the paddle court. They like winning. They also like socializing. And they also like work. Imagine you come and play at a night. We have something called an Americano, where you get to play with 16 to 32 different persons. Imagine how much networking the lawyers will do in just 1 or 2 hours that night. On top of that, they'll have a lot of fun, get their cardio physical, so they'll be healthy. We have some very nice food, and we also have, of course, some juices, and occasionally 1 beer or 2, if that's what you need. So the reason why paddle works and why the president are doing a collaboration with us is that now finally we find something that's fun. So people want to go to. You know how you always find time to go to that movie in the cinema, or go on a date, or take your wife to a very nice restaurant because you want to. Imagine that you're finding a sport where you're saying, oh, I don't want to avoid it, I want to do it. And that's what Herman can do. We'll set up a scenario where you're coming, you're having a network, you're having a league where you beat all the other lawyers from the competing offices, and at the same time you'll have a lot of fun. What we are offering right now, the Law Society, is a Thursday we call Lawyers Lounge. We book the courts for the lawyers. You come whenever it suits, in the evening when you're finished working. You come, you play with your colleagues in the business, you socialize, you exercise, you have a lot of fun, have some food, and enjoy. That can be your weekly day off, or evening off. If it grabs you and you get more addicted, we can do trainings and whatever you like. Then we like to start a lawyer league where we every 2 weeks have games on Saturdays where you compete, each company compete against other companies. And this is what we are discussing right now with ULS. We are about to sign an MOU. We just need to the last bits to get in place. To continue talking a little bit about the community, I brought my center manager, Justin Nachigude, and she'll bring in Norman at some point, who has promised to say a few words about his experience at Herman Paddle. So for now, thank you for your time.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Anderson. So I'll majorly speak about the benefits of paddle. Paddle is it's the simplest game anyone can play after work, before work, and all ages can play it actually. Most of my customers are in the age of 45 to 60. That is what makes it more interesting. I was shocked when I saw a lady of 65 years. She's called Terry. She normally she used to come in like twice a week. But then as time went by, she started coming in like more, like 2 days, 2 times in a day, 4 times in a week, which makes it more interesting. And when I interacted with her, she said it's helping her. She had retired, but then the more she used to come at the center, she became more active. Yeah. So some of the benefits are paddle helps with health. For people that have heart problems, when you keep on playing paddle, it helps on strengthening your heart. Then paddle also helps you to exercise the whole body since it engages the joints. The joints, just like running, and also it cuts 400 to 600 calories every time like you play paddle. It helps to relieve your stress anytime you try it out, and it's very fun. Like when you come at our paddle center, it's very welcoming. You get to interact with other people, you have fun, you like speak to people that have not tried any other sports before, but then they have interest in paddle. So you're all welcome to come and try our paddle center in Zambia.
And one last comment is that it's extremely easy to learn. Tennis takes 3 to 6 months to get a decent level. After 1 to 2 hours, you can play paddle on a beginner level. Maybe you can fill in, Norman. You started as a very young or very unexperienced paddle player and are now kicking beep.
Good afternoon. I am not yet, I'm almost 40, but she said 45 to 60, so at least I'm close to that age. My experience with paddle is that some time back when we were working with the corporate league, our purpose and intention at that time, we started the six-a-side and a lady. But the purpose of that was that we were having 6 players together with 1 lady, but the intention was to have a gender balance, because at that time, very few, if not majority of the women in this country were not involved in football. And we thought it was very important to start having ladies join football and play with the men. But now with paddle, you don't need we don't need to do any sympathy or to put an upgrade for them to be part of it. For example, the doubles normally have 1 male, 1 female, 1 male, 1 female. So, and it's a no contact sport. Unlike in football, where you're not sure whether tomorrow you'll go to work, because at 45, you're playing with young guys of 23 with a lot of energy. You're not sure how they'll leave your legs. I mean, any tackle could cause your bones are not as soft as the other young people. But with paddle, it's a no contact sport. Anybody, with due respect, everybody plays at their own side. Once in a while, they will mix up. But again, it encourages all sexes and all ages to play together. I used to go to the gym 4 times a week. But when I started playing paddle, I think I've not gone to the gym in the last 7 or 8 months. I was 84 kilograms, and I can gladly say I'm 78. With no hustle, I don't do much with my diet anymore because I play 4 times a week. It's not easy to play 1 hour with paddle because you're playing 3 sets. I believe 1 set is 30 minutes, and then you end up saying, can I just play another one? So basically, you have 2 hours of engaging your entire body, fully active and having a sporty day. And I think once I discovered paddle, I have not gone back to any other sport. I was a tennis player, I was a squash player. Whenever I think about them, I am happier where I am. I'm not yet to the professional level like he is. I am a happy amateur. I beat quite some people. And I would encourage all of us to take it up because they say, and I want to agree with them, that it is a corporate sport. The feel of the way how lawyers want to behave, the bougie class, you'll get to feel all that. Because normally there are 4 courts, so you have 4 players in each court, and at the end of the game, you've interacted with 16 persons, you being the 16th. So if he has a league of 32 people, you've interacted with 31 persons who you don't know about, because with the Americano, they just say sign up. You don't know who your partner will be. The system matches you up with anybody. So you play with him, the next game you play with another person, next game you play with another person. So as you're doing the sports, you're also socializing. By the time you leave, you have met or had a conversation with at least 16 to 32 people in 2 hours, which for me, I believe is a very important aspect today in terms of this economy where all that matters to you besides cash is a social capital. So as you play, you're building a social network and a very strong social capital, which will be very important for you as you do business. As you walk out of the court, you're able to make business interactions and other contacts on the same day. You don't have to go to dinner, you don't have to go for a conference. People are right there. As you play, you interact and you make contact. So I once again want to thank Uganda Law Society for this opportunity that they gave Herman Paddle, and also the Secretariat, among other people who have made it possible to give us this platform. By the way, I'm not a shareholder in Herman Paddle. I just love the sport, and I speak for the sport. And we are working towards making it one of the Olympic sports in this country. So we will encourage you to bring your sons and children to start at an early stage, because believe me, 2032, the game will be part of the Olympics, and Uganda will need representatives. He's not able to. I believe none of you in this room will be able to participate in the Olympics, including myself. So if the lawyers and other people can bring their children to start training at an early stage, probably we'll get the Olympics representatives for this country, and maybe your son as a lawyer will represent you and you'll be proud on one of those days. Thank you.
I forgot a very important comment. I put here my business cards. When you call that number, you'll get in touch with Justine. And I'd like to invite all the journalists and you, of course, to take a card and book a free session on Herman so you can see this amazing game and try it out. So please don't hesitate.
Thank you so much, Herman, Justin, and Norman. Thank you so much for the opportunity also to learn another new thing. And this is courtesy of the Uganda Law Society. Like I said, we are the voice of everybody, and it's our honor to receive such new ideas that are going to help to develop the country in various aspects, not just about money, but also health. And today we are dealing with wellness, and this is exactly what we've done. We've had LASPNet, and we've had Herman Pedo to help us introduce the sport. And the thing that has caught my mind is it is fun, social, and it's a good workout. You know, the lawyers, as we've said, don't have so much time to go to the gym. You're leaving office at 8 p.m. and you are required to go home as a family person, and the next you're waking up is 4 a.m. So where better else to get a good workout other than Pedo in Zambia? We shall be getting the details, and it's also very addictive. Norman has been used as an exhibit for the lawyers. You have understood so well that he is an exhibit, but also the exhibit has given his own accord. You know, he has broken it down so that we can understand it better. I had something to do with a beer or two. We don't want to go back into that so much, but there is a lawyer's lounge that will be created so as for lawyers to have it as a chilling place, away from the noise in different bars and or anywhere else. You can come to Zambia. There is going to be a lawyers league that will be established, so it's really about numbers. We are encouraging who are watching us and those that are here physically to come and build on the numbers. And then one very interesting aspect is if you introduce your child, you never know, your child might become a part of the team for the Olympics in 2032. You know, Olympics is not an easy sport, an easy place to go. And Pedo as a new sport will be a new platform, and therefore competition will be less and opportunity will be given to those that are available. So it's a slow growing sport, but we want to make it faster because the lawyers know what to do. We're going to have a session of question and answer because we still have the two different organizations here. We know there is a number of questions for us because these are eye-catching activities that need to be answered. LASPNet, of course, has received a few questions, and there is one. I would like to invite you, if it's still okay, so that we can answer one or two questions from the members. Remember, we have over 7,000 members that are watching us online. And one, Angeyo Sharon has a question for LASPNet saying, thank you, LASPNet. Dr. Sylvia, you are my idol. I admire the work you have done over the years in promoting justice. I can't wait to participate in the run. Doctor, that is, yeah, those flowers are very, very, very awesome. Thank you, Sharon, for reaching out to us. We really appreciate. There's Timothy Joe asking, how many kilometers is the run? Where is the converging point? I think there's some answers in there, but maybe the kilometers is something we need to answer. I am a lawyer practicing in Lira. How can upcountry people participate or support this activity? That is Timothy Joe. He's asking into the kilometers that are going to be run. Where is the converging point? And he is a practicing lawyer in Lira. How can upcountry people, of course not just Lira, upcountry generally, participate or support this activity? And then we have Jonathan Lule. Thank you so much, Jonathan, for reaching out. He's asking, is there a discount for a law firm of about 10 or more people? Is there a discount for a law firm of about 10 or more people? We would like to take that set of questions. And also, if there are any in the house, you're also welcome to ask them. I would like to request that we activate the microphone just in front of us to answer those questions. Then we shall move to the questions aimed at Pedo, Herman Pedo. That is for LASPNet for now. Yes, Doctor. The microphone before you can be activated.
Well, thank you so much, Sharon. I received my flower. on the kilometers, I want to invite in-house counsel Kayanja, who is coordinating with the police, to come and answer that.
Thank you so much.
And the converging point.
Yeah, converging point, kilometers.
Okay, yes, thank you so much. My name is Kayanja Dennis. And I'll start with responding to the question in regards to the converging point. As earlier stated, we are working together with the Law Development Center, and as a result, that will be our converging point, from which we are going to be advised by the Uganda Police Force, working together with the Traffic Department, on how we shall navigate the different routes in terms of kilometers. For those who have participated in runs before, I think you could have noticed that the routes to be taken are usually determined by the number of kilometers that one will take. But for the start, we try to package the kilometers based on what someone can handle. We don't want to create a race where we shall have people collapsing on the road. So we started with a 3 kilometer, then we have 5 kilometers, we have 7, 10, and 12 kilometers. The conclusive routes will be stated in due course, and the communications will be coming through from the Uganda Law Society. But in the meantime, that is it. As earlier stated, the converging point will be the Law Development Center here in Kampala. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Council Kayanja. And for Council Timothy, thank you so much for asking the question of how to participate. And I'm going to request the chairperson of the organizing committee to respond to those questions, even the question of discount.
Thank you, Doctor. Yes, we'll have a discount, and I don't want to mention the discount here, but it will be on a case-by-case basis. So please tell us how many you want, and we'll surely give you a discount. And now for up-country participants, you know that LastMinute has representatives from different regions. So we shall walk through our regional representatives. We have one in the Western region, Council Macho Patrick. We have one from the Eastern region, who is Council Betty Badsalam. We also have a representative from the Northern region, who is Elizabeth Alanyo. And we'll share those contacts. We also plan to have kits at different courts for easy access for those in the upcountry districts. We invite you all, please plan to participate. Everyone, we want people from across the country to be part of this run, and want to make it as easy as possible for everyone to get involved. Thank you.
Thank you so much for those questions that have come in. We keep encouraging you to ask more questions, but very fast we want to delve into the last topic. As the other questions keep coming, please send those online questions. We know they keep coming, and our members that the distinguished guests are here to answer those questions. But in the meantime, we want to open up the space for the next topic, which is more of information, but also engaging advocates in regard to the East Africa Law Society Conference, which is scheduled for next month, November. And to help us understand more is an advocate of the High Court of Uganda and a dedicated human rights lawyer with a focus on transparency and good governance. He holds an LLB from Makerere University and a postgraduate diploma in legal practice and a Master of Laws from Liverpool John Moore University. With over 8 years of experience in civil society, he has driven impactful legal reforms in governance and accountability. As a head of professional development, membership and capacity building at the East Africa Law Society, he empowers legal professionals across the region, reinforcing his enduring commitment to justice, human rights, and the rule of law. And with us, ladies and gentlemen, would like to welcome Mr. Gabriel Achaye, who is joining us online so as to delve into more details about the the East Africa Law Society Conference. Mr. Gabriel, are you with us, please?
Yes, Rob, thank you for this opportunity and for the platform. I do stand on the pre-established protocol as laid down by the speakers that enumerated the different subtopics before me. Rob, I do understand, as culture is in this part of the world, that 1 p.m. is always lunch break, so I will keep my remarks very short and succinct, and then probably take any inquiry if it be. Colleagues, it's really a distinct pleasure for me to speak with you all this afternoon, and very good to be home, though virtually. And before I start, I would like to sincerely appreciate and thank the Uganda Law Society and its leadership under the very able leadership of the President, Mr. Isaac Chimaze Semakadde, Senior Counsel, his Vice President, my good friend Anthony Asimwe, the entire Secretariat, and every member of the Uganda Law Society for the tremendous support that was offered during our 29th East Africa Law Society annual conference that took place last year at the Peak Resort Hotel in Munyonyo. I must note that this meeting was one of our most successful meetings due to the efforts that were put by the members of the Uganda Law Society and the Secretariat in organizing the conference, attending the conference, and the energy that was put towards this cause was quite commendable, and it exhibited the very best of Uganda. So a big thank you to each and every one of you that made this possible. So before I delve into the conference, again, it's important for the members or those who may not know about the East Africa Law Society to have a brief about the society. ELS was established in 1995 by a group of visionary lawyers under the stewardship of Ambassador Mwanaidi Maja, Mr. Paul Wamei, Dr. Harriet Diana Musoke, Senior Counsel, Mr. Charles Rechungura, our very own Senior Counsel, John Mary Mugisha, Mohammed Ismail, and Everest Mbuya, who believed that East African lawyers needed a common regional platform. And we are very proud as a nation, proud as Uganda, that we offered our very own Justice Salome Bosa to serve as the founding president from 1995 to 1997. Under her able leadership, she laid a very strong foundation in which the society still stands today. So from that beginning, I'm now happy to announce that the East Africa Law Society has grown to more than 42,000 members that are drawn across 8 national bars that include among Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, Tanzania, Burundi, and Ethiopia. We do hold observer status with the East Africa community, the African Court on Human and People's Rights, and we work closely with regional and continental bodies such as the East Africa Court of Justice, the East Africa Legislative Assembly, and the African Union, among others. So our mission as East Africa Law Society is simple. Our mission is to strengthen the profession, promote good governance, and uphold the rule of law and human rights across East Africa. Now, for Ugandan lawyers, ELS membership is not just symbolic, it is strategic because of the benefits that it gives you. One of our benefits is we are a regional voice of law and policy. And being a member of the East Africa Law Society, you'll be accorded a platform to voice out your views on laws and policies through engaging with over 44 ELS committees that are dedicated towards leading the chart in the different thematic areas. The second opportunity you have is training and accreditation. The East Africa Law Society, among the regional bars that are in existence, is one of the most organized regional bars, but also it boasts of having the ELS Institute, which is the training arm of the East Africa Law Society that I'm privileged to lead. The Institute has, over the years, reached out and formed partnerships with international universities, and we have delivered over 20,000 courses to lawyers across the region. The other thing that you gain by being a member of the East Africa Law Society is the networking opportunities across borders through our specialized forums, as earlier mentioned. And as you know, the world is now a global village, and as such, networking cannot be underscored. And that is the platform that you have. And then, of course, that is almost obvious, is the visibility that it gives lawyers and firms working regionally. And so it's the natural extension of your membership at the Uganda Law Society that gives you this gateway to regional influence. So this year, as we mark 30 years of ELS, our annual conference and general meeting will run from the 26th to the 29th of November 2025 in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, under the theme, 3 decades of promoting rule of law, regional integration, and the legal profession in East Africa. Now, you all know that Addis Ababa is not only the home of the African Union, it's the diplomatic capital of Africa. It's where Africa meets, and such this is an ideal venue for this very major milestone, where we expect over 5,000 delegates, who among include judges, advocates, corporate counsel, academics, and policymakers to join in this celebration. Our program is an action-packed whole-week program that will commence on the 24th to the 25th of November with the ILFA Banking and Finance Academy. So if you are a banking and finance practitioner out there or working in an institution that deals with banking and finance, you would want to interest yourself with this very specialized ILFA Banking and Finance Academy that is accredited by ILFA and the ELS Institute. After this particular session, participants will be issued with certificates that are accredited by ILFA and the ELS Institute. On the 25th of November, we'll host bar leaders and CEOs roundtable. So if you're a CEO out there of a regional bar or of a legal body, we have a roundtable for you where we'll be discussing matters pertaining to the practice of law in the region and beyond. On the 26th of November, we'll officially open with an opening ceremony, and we'll then break out into our different forums. We do have our leading law firms forum that comprises of the region's premier law firms that are charting new waters and moving to new horizons in different thematic areas of practice. So it's the biggest gathering of the region's top tier firms to discuss matters that affect their practice. We do have the in-house counsel forum, and our in-house counsel forum is the largest gathering of in-house counsel practicing in corporate government and other statutory bodies. So they'll be converging on the 26th of November. And then we do have an implementation of African Court and Regional Court Decision Conference that is sponsored by the Raoul Wallenberg Institute, and this will also happen on the 26th of November. On the 27th of November, we do have a very special gathering of different thematic areas that among include the Women Lawyers Forum, the Young Lawyers Forum, and we do have a climate litigation and a justice forum that will happen alongside the Women and Young Lawyers conferences. On the 28th of November, which will be a Friday, we will have our main conference day that will happen at the EU headquarters. So you may want to come in and attend that main conference day, but also we have different thematic breakout sessions on different areas of law that are new, emerging, and exciting. So you do not want to miss out on that discussion. Our evening will wind with gala dinner and awards night. And if you have attended an ELS event, you know that we know how to party. So we'll have a gala dinner and award session. And then on the 29th of November, we'll have the annual general meeting and closing of the conference officially. But just to highlight that we do have, besides the conference event, we do have networking sessions, and as such, we have a couple of cocktails that are spread out all through the conference days. We do have our annual golf tournament that will be happening at this golf club. So do not forget to carry your equipment and come and tee off at the Majestic Addis Golf Club. And if you're out there and you are wondering how you can register for this conference, registration is open and you can apply now at elosociety.org or reach out to us by email at info@elosociety.org, or you can reach out to me at gabriel@elosociety.org. And our fees for members attending the session, for lawyers above 5 years of practice, the fee is $400 US. The early bird fee was $350 US, but that expired on the 30th of September 2025. And for young lawyers, those who are 5 years and below, you are required or expected to pay $350 United States dollars. If you're a non-member, like my good paddle team, and you're wondering whether you want to expand the frontier of paddling as a sport, you could be required to pay 700 United States dollars to come and attend the conference. And of course, our leading law firms forum attracts a modest fee of $2,500 that gives you 3 delegate passes, chauffeur transport, VIP branding, and premium access to all our events. We also do have negotiated accommodation rates at top Ethiopian hotels, like at the Skylight Hotel, where we'll host the main conference events. And our negotiated rates range from $40 US to $99 US per night at any hotel that you may choose. Now, if you're also listening in and you would like to sponsor or partner with us in delivery of this very wonderful session, we do have sponsorship packages ranging from $3,000 to $30,000. And these sponsorship packages, a different array of options that you can choose from and be part of history in making. And as Uganda, you know, Uganda has been central to our story at the East Africa Law Society from its founding president, the Honorable Justice Solomon Bosa, to, you know, last year's very successful conference. So my plea to us all is to keep that momentum up. Let's show up in very large numbers and let Uganda lead the charge. Now, this year, as we celebrate 30 years, we are not just celebrating 30 years, we are celebrating a Pearl anniversary. And so we are looking back at the tremendous milestones that the society has made, and we are forging our next decade of legal practice within the region, because we are the leading voice of practice within the region. So once again, I would like to sincerely thank the Uganda Law Society under the very able leadership of Senior Counsel Isaac Chimaze Semakade, the Secretariat under the leadership of Christine Awori, and every ULS member for your partnership and leadership. And we look forward to hosting you in Addis Ababa this November for our ELS at 30 conference. Thank you, Robert, and I will hand it over to you now.
Thank you so much, Gabriel, for that very elaborate presentation that has espoused us with knowledge about what is going to happen. It is party after party at the Uganda Law Society. There is a lot of information that is going to touch all of us, especially the members. There is so much that is going to be shared. Thank you so much, Gabriel, once again. We are seeing a lot that is going to be beneficial. I've had one for in-house counsel. There is a day for in-house counsel. I'm very sure LastNet is going to sponsor us to go there as well. There is a lot of information that is going to be shared in banking and finance, a lot of information that is going to be shared about implementation of African and regional courts decisions, and information that is going to be shared by women lawyers. And I'm seeing Doctor here nodding her head. It appears she has already gotten her ticket. Just know that there's going to be party after party, day after day, from 26th to the 29th, especially including being hosted at the AU House on the last day for the AGM, in which we are going to be able to rub shoulders with over 40,000 lawyers, as has been said by Gabriel, who is one of our own and a son of the Uganda Law Society as well. So we're so thankful and grateful that Gabriel is out there raising the flag high and representing Uganda at his workplace in the East Africa Law Society. We are proud of you. We just need you to know that we have your back, and we ask of you to continue to be the good gentleman and the good lawyer that you have always been. Thank you for the leadership, thank you for the coordination, and thank you for the opportunity for us to get to know that information. We are also going to be in position to share those details further in your emails, as well as post them on the different WhatsApp platforms for you to prepare. We already know that the Members Affairs Department, a sister department just like Gabriel is heading, is already in communication with the different members. We have sent messages out there. We have been preparing members. Some members have actually already paid. Others are yet to pay, and we are going to rewind the communication, especially of the rates and the figures that have been shared by Gabriel, because one of our tenets, like we said, is digital transformation. We're not able to have him physically here. He is at the East Africa Law Society Secretariat. He has communicated to us online, and he has also shared with us a number of different aspects that are going to be payable. We shall be sharing them online. There is quite a lot he has shared with us. There is a lot of information, and we are going to be able to give you the rates, including such like early bird rate that will be paying different figures. Of course, as we have said, the earlier you come, the better it will be for you. And we are going to be reading the categories that will be there. There's going to be a category established members with over 5 years experience. There will be categories of young lawyers. There will be categories of new, or rather non-members. And as well, we shall have figures attached to those different categories. There is going to be a USD of $400 to be charged for the early, $400, but the early bird rate will be $350. That is open, that was open until September 30th, 2025. But also, what we are trying to say is there is still room for participation, there is still room for payment, there is still room for you to take yourself out and attend a rather bigger annual general meeting called by the East Africa Law Society, and we are a part of that group, we are a part of that organization, and we are all aware that we are also members of the East Africa Law Society by virtue of being a member of Uganda Law Society. So this is your own, and this is the opportunity for you to rub shoulders with other lawyers from different jurisdictions, for you to both interact as well as network and get better opportunities as time goes by. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the third presentation. We had promised that there will be a question and answer session, and we have a few more comments that to be shared by LASPNet. There's still questions for Herman Peido. I have to read them out, and but I'll allow Doctor to make her comment.
Yes. Yes. There's a very important message I forgot to pass on. Yeah, at this juncture, I want to pay special recognition to the Senior Counsel and President of the Radical New Bar, Council Semakade, because in my remarks, because the VP was around, it slipped my mind. But I want to appreciate him so much for steering this institution, but most especially, and that is something I had forgotten, but we spoke about it and you did not remind me here. The first sponsor of the Legal Aid House, when we launched this project, that was at the CEO's Forum of the 8th CEO's Forum. It was Senior Counsel Isaac Semakade, and he put in the first envelope 100 USD. So we have him in his records, and we want to appreciate him for setting the bar and the pace. We want to appreciate you, and we request the rest to follow suit. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Senior Counsel Isaac K. Semakade. We know beyond doubt that you're following us online. We've always wanted to hear your voice, but for very many different reasons that you're engaged, even when you're not here, we still feel your impact. Imagine what you did before you even became the president. For so much that you've done, your name has gone before you, and we want to ask that God bless you for the different efforts and different endeavors that you've given to legal aid because of what you are passionate about. So thank you so much once again, Mr. President. We love you, and no one can stop reggae. Thank you so much, Mr. President. We have questions for Herman Peido. There's a question that came from one Ainem Babazi. Thank you so much once again, Ainem Babazi, for reaching out. The question is the Peido Center open to kids? I would like to have fun activities for my children. Is the Peido Center open to kids? I would like to have fun activities for my children. I think that one was answered, but I think we shall get more clarity from them. And then Justin Iga, thank you once again for the question. I have no sports experience. I think my bones are stiff. Would Peido be ideal for me? The question, I have no sports experience. I think my bones are stiff. Would Peido be ideal for me? Those two questions are here with us. Would you please activate the microphone before you and answer them, please?
Yes, absolutely. The first question about kids. Yes, we do have kids programs. We have trainings during the week after school, and we also have holiday camps when there is holidays from the different schools. And if there's not a program that fits, reach out, then we'll create it, because we have a teacher standing by all the time. So please just bring your kids and they'll love it. The second question is actually my favorite. And I'll refer to Justin's story about Terry, who is like 65, 66. She comes in with not much sports experience, and she starts slow. And within 1 month, 6 weeks, she jumps around like she's 18. So my message is, this sport is very gentle on everything, on your joints. There's no contact, so as Norman mentioned, there's no risk of getting hurt, unless you are a crazy man and jumps up and fall down on your wrist wrong, but let's not talk about that. That was me. And so it's available for everybody, and the beauty of it is that as soon as you're there, on your first lesson, 5-10 minutes in the lesson, you'll feel that, I can do this. The first 30 seconds might be a little bit confusion, but after 5-10 minutes, you can feel, I'm already better than I was when I got here. And then half an hour, much better, 1 hour, yes, I can do this, I can learn this. So you leave with the understanding, yes, I can learn this game.
Thank you so much, Herman. Norman, there is a question for you. How long have you played this sport? How long does a game last? I think he wants to get a little bit of the breakdown. I think it's important so that they can prepare their minds. Yeah, please proceed. This is Kenneth. It's okay to do it? No, sorry, please.
I think I started playing last year, sometime in November. Then I took a break for the entire January, February, because towards March we were in a fasting period. I took about 3 months off, so I could comfortably say I've played for about 8 months consecutively. The game ideally should take a full game, should take 1 hour and a half if you're playing 3 sets. And if you're playing Americano, it should take about 10 minutes, maybe 5, 7 to 10, depending on the points you're playing. If you're playing a 16-point, probably 5 minutes. And if you're doing the 32, maybe 7 or 10. So if you want to play a full game, you're looking at 1 hour and a half, max 2 hours. Normally, that's what it should take. There are games which are slightly longer for the more experienced people, where they have to keep deucing and, But if it's a straight game of 6, because you play best of 3, so whoever takes the first 2 wins. And you're playing 6 games within an entire set. So you're looking at maybe 30 minutes. If you're really more, there's a bit of resistance between the players. But ideally, between 20 to 30 minutes, the first set should be done. So a full game is 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, and max 2. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Clearly, we can see that this is a sport that is waiting for all of us to join. Not very long, not very hectic, but very, very engaging. And I'm sure that your bonds will be very, very engaged, and you will no longer need to get stressed about your health. Thank you so much, Norman. Another question from Susan K. Is there a provision for people with disabilities to play? Is there a provision for people with disabilities to play? This is speaking into inclusiveness. We want to also just appreciate that. Is there a provision for people with disabilities to play? Thank you.
It depends.
Okay.
Because among the students that normally come in for the games and trainings,
Yes.
we have some kids that have autism.
Oh.
And they've been participating.
Yes.
We have a special way of handling that. But if someone has, like, let's say they are lame, I'm not so sure if they can. But for people that are not so
fit and
they can come for the game. We have coaches that can help them out.
All right. Yeah. Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah. People in wheelchair can play, those that are able to move, because of course it's a growing sport. We might not necessarily address everything, but it's work in progress, I want to imagine, because your answer has been responsive. Not that it is a no. We don't want people with disabilities. It is that there is a category. We're attending to people with autism, but also those that are able to use wheelchairs, and the ball can be sent to you and you can send it back. And I think it's work in progress. So we'll take that as a positive, and we shall just encourage members to come. The most important thing is take the first step. Come to the venue, and all the answers will be given unto you when you're there. And Norman, who has played for 8 months, has paid annual subscription. So his subscription is still running. Imagine you coming over there and you're given a discount because you followed it from the Ugandan Society. So come on. Yes. Rackets are available. And the balls are available. Come with your sportswear. There is enough parking. I know lawyers have their cars on a Monday or after Sunday. Put your sportswear in the car. Pass by in the evening. Just look for Ntambia Herman Paddle, and you will be in position to get the best experience of such a new sport. Remember, the options are available, and you have a lot of opportunity to introduce yourself to new sport. We have a comment from Gertrude Trudy, who says, ELS AGM, we are ready, with emojis of a lady dancing. Can't wait to meet lawyers across the region. Guys, organize yourselves, put on your dancing shoes, wear your suits during the day, and in the evening, it's in Ethiopia, Addis Ababa, the home of the AU, party after party. Come and meet lawyers from the region and interact and socialize and get contacts and network and become a better lawyer. So Gertrude, thank you so much for the flowers. And she's saying thank you to Gabi. Gabi, thank you. I know you are not very available because you had another session to go into. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for the coordination that you're offering. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the close of today's session. It has been a very, very industrious 3 hours. We want to thank you once again from the Uganda Law Society. We want to thank you from the Rule of Law Department that has put this together, from the media teams that have visited us, the desk of the IT. Thank you so much for your services. Drake, we thank you for the time and for the provision of the services. We thank the members, the distinguished guests, Banange, Lastnet, and Herman Pedro. Thank you. A round of applause for them. Thank you so much. We could not have done this without you. All we do is facilitate, but the content is brought by you, and you have spoken to a host of lawyers and the general public that is very excited, and we are sure that with the kit that we have in the house, we're able to market it and make sure we deliver the results in form of sales to you. But we shall also be getting more information about the different sell points, because I know it's not just going to be at the Uganda Law Society. We shall get the different sell points. We shall communicate to you online and on your emails about where to get the kit. And in case of anything, we shall also have contacts. As we say, there are other people that are up country and they would love to participate. So we are going to get those contact persons and share them widely, both on WhatsApp groups as well as email, for you to be in position to know where to get any assistance. In the meantime, there's going to be kit over here at the Uganda Law Society. We said platinum is 35,000 and ordinary is 25,000. The converging point is Law Development Center, and we are all welcome, as has been espoused on this platform. Ladies and gentlemen, as I would like to wind up with today's activities, would like to thank you very, very much for the opportunity and the time. May God bless you, and would like to thank you once again.